Hey guys, how's it going? All the Superfest fam, all these lovely people, my favorite place in the entire NFT space to kind of hide away. And it's kind of nice that we have this little sanctuary, I guess you could say, where we can all come in here and have a small little tight knit group and we can ask questions and find all of that good stuff. Today, it looks like most people wanted to have a bit of like a learn how to use some free tools and all that good stuff. And I'm going to make sure that if you guys have any questions or need anything, please let me know. If I can't answer any questions, I will make sure that I find out the answers to it, and I will definitely get back to you. Because if anyone tells you in this space that they know everything, they are full of shit. Okay? Because I learn new stuff every day. I learn new things from newcomers like all the time. It's actually kind of crazy. The space is just ever evolving and is always just morphing and kind of moving around and doing all this cool stuff. So I'm going to share my screen now. I just realized I'm not sharing my screen. I thought that maybe because I have OBS up, it was all good. But let me know if you guys can see that. And let me see if I can change let me get the quality of it a little bit better for you guys. There we go. Okay, cool. Awesome. Cool. How's
Yep.
everyone doing? Everyone doing good? Everyone can see my stream and everything?
Looks good. Looks good.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So this first site that I is completely free. It's one of my favorite sites, and there's a ton of like really good stuff on here. You can click like through these analytics, and you can find top mints, and it goes down. It's literally telling you the number of mints, the mint volume, just like exactly how much Ethereum is being spent on the mint, how many minters, how many whales are going on it, and all this good stuff. All of this is really interesting information. If you're kind of like, you see something minting and you kind of want to see if you're like, hey, maybe I should like mint that or not. Sometimes it's a good idea to, what I always tell people to do is to check the volume and check OpenSea and check stuff like this right here, because this gives you a good indicator of whether or not you should mint. The reason why I say that is oftentimes people see a hyped up mint and they're like, oh, I got to mint it immediately. And then all of a sudden they realize that it doesn't mint out, and then the floor drops, and then you're like stuck holding an NFT. If you're buying the NFT to actually, support the project and all that kind of stuff, that's a whole different story. You want to mint it immediately, mint it whenever, as long as you're like totally fine with it. But if you're like minting something because you're trying to invest and you're trying to make some money, it's always a good thing to check this out. So like I talk about a lot of projects. I used to do a lot of alpha calling, and one of the things with alpha calling was I made a spreadsheet that kind of told you about upcoming mints that were coming. And so people sometimes were like, "Oh wow, man, cool. Zero Cool had that on his mint thing. It's guaranteed gonna make money." That is definitely incorrect. If I was able to predict and control the market, um, I'm not trying to be mean, but I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now. I'd be a billionaire and I'd be doing a lot of crazy shit. But my point being is that, like, don't ever blindly follow influencers or content creators. You always need to do your own research. And when I say do your own research, it's not the normal let me cover my ass. It's more of just look at the volume and seeing if people are actually minting. And this website, NFT Go, it pulls from, it literally tells you so much stuff, like all this information, that when the first mint happened, so you can find out like when, how long ago it started minting. So if something started like, if it's not within hours or or like, minutes, and then you look at it and then it's still not even close to being minted out, I would say that's like a very much of a red flag. Obviously, there's exceptions to all the rules. Like I said, if you believe in a project, mint that project and like roll with it and spend time in that community. I'm not telling anyone to not mint stuff just because the volume's not high, but if you're trying to make money and you're trying to invest to flip later on down the road, you definitely do want to keep an eye on the volume and all that good stuff. So this is definitely a very good website for that, and this keeps it updated within certain timing increments, and it's just really great because it's literally completely free. And I always try to tell people that they're like, "Oh man, Zero, like I can't, get on NFT Nerds, it's too expensive, or I can't own Alpha Sharks." There's a ton of really good, information and things like that that's at our fingertips that you guys can use. So this one's called NFTGo.io, and completely free. I have it bookmarked. It's something that I talk to about a lot with everybody. And you can even go to something like this, like click the top sales, and you can kind of find out like, wow, these are the most expensive things that are selling right now and the highest price. And you can sort things just like by like, the last price. Like that's why I'm not really sure this Dreadful's for 321 Ethereum. That's completely like psycho, quite frankly. But you would normally think you'd see Bored Apes up there, and then this Azuki is actually like a wickedly rare Azuki. If you look at this one, that background and that like the
Hmm.
ethereal ghost version it's obnoxiously rare. It's scary how rare
Yeah.
that thing is. So
Yeah. For
that's
sure.
why that one's up there. But obviously Azuki kind of has had come down on hard times as recently. I don't know if people have heard about that, but the guy Zagabond, he had a couple other projects that he worked on before that just kind of, it's not that he rugged them, it's they failed, and he moved on, and he kept on moving on instead of like fixing the project he was on. And then he came to Azuki, and it's kind of a touchy subject because I kind of wonder why people took so long to call Zagabond out. And on top of that, like Azuki's obviously doing really well, so it's not like he's gonna be like, oh, hey guys, see you later. I got one of the most popular, one of the most popular NFT
Right.
projects out there. But see you later, guys. Deuces. Like it doesn't make sense to me. So, but that's a whole nother story in itself. But this is just like a really cool website. If you scroll down, you can really kind of tell like some of the more popular projects out there. Meebits. This Meebit thing is kind of doesn't make any sense to me. You will randomly see Meebits pop up, and I can't explain. There's definitely something more going on that meets the eye, and I'll explain it right now. So if you like looking at the trades coming through, this is the floor right here. And then you're looking at some rarer ones selling for 80, 90 in clusters. I cannot explain this to you guys. I have no earthly idea, but this is why that Meebits is showing up there, because they have these random times where whales sweep several of these Meebits, and you're even seeing ones up over 100. I don't know if that's like, it's not insider trading. It just doesn't make a lick of sense, quite frankly. So like I don't even know what to tell you, but Meebits is definitely a project that's really looked at in high regard across the NFT space. It's by the people who did CryptoPunks, and then now it's part of the Yuga Labs ecosystem. And apparently, coming in the next month or so, once the other side kind of rolls out more, apparently the president or the owner, or I say co-founder of Yuga Labs, was talking about how he's going to make some really insane utility for these Meebits. Which if he announced the utility, this price would literally skyrocket, because A, Yuga Labs, and B, this has absolutely no utility right now. It's just an OG in the space. And you're seeing a 4.44 floor price, even though that's way down from like when it was up at 6 or 7. But we're in a bear market, so everything's kind of tanking, but it's kind of absolutely impressive. Something that looks like, not making fun of this because some people like it, but I mean, if you look at it, it looks like a voxel, and it's not billed as a voxel, something you can run around in a metaverse with. And that's like the thing that it's kind of like strange that like it's holding a 4.44 floor price. And that's because a lot of stuff with the OGs, you're talking about CryptoPunks. Like, why is CryptoPunks worth so much money? They're freaking pixelated.
Can I intervene real quick on the Meebits too?
Absolutely.
So one of the things that's going on too, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a project called Alpacadabras, um, but
Mm-hmm.
they're doing a lot of things, and one of the things that they're doing is you're able to you have this 3D alpaca that's like a voxel, but you can have like your Meebits, your the voxel fucking like these gorilla things that can actually mount on these alpacas as well. So that could also be a reason of why you see a good floor too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where like that coupled with the whole it being an OG in the space and owning by Yuga Labs, like those two things come together, can hold a healthy floor price, which is, it's pretty impressive. This hasn't tanked more than it already has. So that's good information. I appreciate you stepping in. And like I was saying before, anyone that has anything that they want to add or anything like that, feel free to go ahead and do so. I'm more than happy to shut up for a little bit. But so on this NFT Go, as you guys can see, is like really great. You're looking at the top sales from the last 24 hours. You can really kind of see most of the time Bored Apes and CryptoPunks are gonna hold this, and then other deeds that have a coda on it are most likely going to be another thing that's on there. See, there's a coda right there in the middle. These codas fetch a hefty price,
Hmm.
although nobody really knows what the hell they do. it's been hinted at that the codas are going to be an integral part of the other side ecosystem. So naturally, when it's Yuga and especially Bored Ape association, these things are going to do really really well, just because. But so I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this the whole thing. You can look over here and you can like check out even this even has like volume for different marketplaces, which is a really cool metric because you can kind of understand like OpenSea does really well, and it's like basically the number one has almost 250 million in volume currently. But the main thing is that X2Y2 and Looks Rare are up there. The reason why a lot of times people do X2Y2 and Looks Rare, there's a couple reasons that I'll go ahead and explain. Is that X2Y2 and Looks Rare, oftentimes they have lower royalties because a project might put out put their project out there, and then they only do set their OpenSea royalties. So the royalties on X2Y2 and Looks Rare are going to be way lower. Another thing that's going to happen with that is X2Y2 and Looks Rare, you can earn their token. So if you buy with on X2Y2 and Looks Rare, if you buy those, you can get a Looks token and you can earn X2Y2 token. While those tokens probably aren't worth as much as they were long ago, you still have the ability to kind of buy and earn on here. Obviously you're gonna kind of miss out on a little bit of, what is on OpenSea, because the majority of everything that's on OpenSea is not also on X2Y2 or Looks Rare. But if you use a program called gem.xyz, which I'll go to right now. If you use a program called gem.xyz, this is a NFT aggregator. In my opinion, it's the best one that's out there. This enables you to look at projects that are listed across all different marketplaces. So if you see the little boat in the blue boat up in the top left corner, that indicates that this one is on sale on OpenSea. And then if you come to here, this white one with the blue circles in it, this is X2Y2. This green one right here with the eye, that looks rare. So the really cool thing is say that what I always tell people to do is if you're wanting to buy an NFT and you're spending something a lot more money and you're not buying it into a big pump or like a ton of volume is happening at that time, it's not like it's releasing. I would always say go to gem.xyz and look through there, because you might find someone who listed it on Looks Rare or X2Y2 that might be a lot lower because they found out that they can get more, less royalties are taken out of it. So it kind of incentivizes people to list it on those platforms instead of listing on OpenSea. One thing I will say is sometimes you will come across, so I just clicked this one right here, and you notice up in the corner right there, it says reported for suspicious activity on OpenSea. That is obviously a big red flag. You do not want to purchase that. The really cool thing about, I can't go through the buying process because I don't have 95 Ethereum in my wallet, but if I were to go through this buying process and I click proceed and I missed it having this little indicator right here, and I click proceed to checkout, it still lets me do it even though I don't have the Ethereum, but this will pop up and it'll be like, this is a suspicious item, if you want to still buy this item or not. And what this means is you can't list it on OpenSea. That's the only thing. But also it has the negative connotation of it being stolen, so you don't really want to buy stuff from a hacker or someone who is scam artist, so you don't want to support them. That's the main thing. I will say one thing. One of my claim to fame in this space is that the reason why this pop-up thing happened is because I made a tweet and I tagged Gem and I was like, Gem's really great, but the only problem is I accidentally bought a suspicious item on there and I didn't know about it. And so one of the Gem devs like came onto my tweet and replied and he goes, how about we do a pop-up thing to indicate and let you know that that happens? And so that's why that exists right now. It's my number one
Well,
claim to fame in
yep,
this
you're
space.
famous.
It's a funny thing to like claim, but it's true. Like it's 100% true. It's not even me being like trying to act cool, because I'm not trying to brag for no reason. I gain nothing from that, but I
Stop
had
lying.
what?
Stop lying.
Well, I just think it's cool. So the reason why I say it is not because I think I'm cool because of that, because it's not really that cool. But the reason why I bring it up is because that shows you how awesome Gem really is. Is that someone said something about a problem, they went to the dev team and fixed it. Within like 4 hours, I think, of me making that tweet, they had already changed their platform so that it like would notify you that. That makes me
That's pretty
happy,
dope, though.
not
That's pretty
because
dope.
I did it, but because I know that Gem is going to keep on, they already have a great platform. They
They're
can
gonna
just
evolve more.
exactly, and that's another reason why I love NFT nerds a lot and why I use this program and this platform so much is because they're ever evolving. They could literally sit back and kick their feet up and go to sleep if they wanted to because they've made something that everyone loves. But the main thing about it is that they keep on making this better and better and better. And that's why I love that. And that's another thing I always say to people about NFT projects is look for those projects and those founders that like it doesn't matter what time or what's going on, they're pushing and they keep on innovating, come better. I'm really close friends with these guys that are doing this project called Unfiltered. And what Unfiltered is like they're basically centered around education and deep analysis on projects. And sometimes a project will come to them and be like, "Hey, Unfiltered, will you do an audit on our project?" And so what they will do is they'll pay them for this audit. Unfiltered doesn't hold anything back. They're like, "Oh, cool, oh cool, you paid us money, so we're gonna hype your project up." They don't do that. They're basically like supremely honest. And what I love about some projects that get a really low score is I get really bullish on those projects when they take that score and they're like, "Holy shit, like we did really bad." Instead of being like, "Man, screw you, you like we paid you money to do this." They instead take that as advice and they work to better their project. And that's why I love the NFT nerds and that's why I love Gem and that's why some projects are really great because it's like of course, no one's perfect. There's going to be flaws, but what makes someone closer to perfection is working through those flaws. And humans have a really bad way of taking criticism and being like, "Ugh, like I'm so mad. How dare you talk about my baby like that?" Instead, kind of taking it constructively and being like, "How can we take that and have that align with our goals and our values of what we're trying to accomplish with our NFT project and still put out a good project?" And I always find that to be really cool. So hats off to Gem and the NFT nerds for sure for that little tidbit for sure. Um, One thing I will say, one of my favorite things about the NFT, um, my favorite thing about NFT Go here is when you scroll down to, give me one second, searching collections. Let's see, let's just go with Azuki right now. If
So
you
you don't, not to cut you off. So you don't have to pay for like a premium for this shit.
no, this is all. I don't even have a profile on this thing right here.
I fuck with it. I
Yeah,
use icy tools, but like you need to obviously have be like a premium and get all the other fucking benefits and shit. And it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of stupid, but I will say that Icy Tools is very moderately priced. That is one
Yeah,
benefit.
I like it. It's got a good price in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's kind of makes it a little bit easier to go with it. So one thing that I will say is, I teach this in Project Gajira is where I work. Normally, I'm on the core team there. I came up there as an alpha caller, and so what I like to do is educate people. And one of the things that I kind of try to put a little put a shining light on to make sure people take away from the NFT Go besides all the other great stuff is if you go and you type in a collection, and we just did Azuki just because it was just there, and you click the holders, and if you scroll down, I like to look at these two metrics right here, the holder amount distribution, the holding period distribution. And so what this will tell is how many people are holding X amount. Okay. So when you look through here and you see that 73, when I look at it and I see 73%, and then I usually actually don't even look at it for just one. I combine the one and then the people that hold 2 to 3. So if you see a project where people are holding like 50 of them and that's the majority of it, that's not healthy. That's not healthy at all. I don't like to see that. What I like to see is people who own 1, 2, or 3 of them and have that be the highest percentage. With Azuki, this number is actually so incredible right here. This is literally like 90, that's 92%. I think my math is correct. 92% of people only hold 1, 2, or 3. That is bullish in my opinion. Like I always said, is just because this is a bullish metric and the project that you're looking at meets these certain criteria doesn't mean you should blindly go and buy it. It's something to think about and to look at. Be like, I told a friend who's a Psychedelics Anonymous holder, which I think is a really great project. Let's see if we can get it up here. and you'll see that the holder ratio on this one is also really good. Whoops. So if you scroll down here, yep. See, like I was saying, is this one's 75% hold 1, and then you're gonna tack on the 18% for the 2 to 3, and you're gonna get a 93%, I think. Yeah, 93% that are hold 1, 2, or 3. That's extremely bullish in my opinion. And then when you look over here as another one of those indicators, this one is actually extremely impressive here, I must say, because this has not been out for longer than a year. So of course people can't hold this NFT for over a year. But the people that basically minted and have holded this for more than 3 months, they're 73%. That's actually incredible. That's so like actually mind blowing in a way that high number of people have held on to this stuff for that long. What does that do? That shows conviction in the project. Okay. And that's definitely something that you really, 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 really love to see. So NFT Go, one of my favorite things about it is this right here. It gives you a good holding amount distribution as well as a holding period distribution, which in my opinion are some things that like people don't really look at. They look at they'll look at sell walls and they'll look at volume and all that stuff. All of those things are really great metrics to look after. But if you're looking to hold on to something and you want something that's going to like potentially go up in value or hold its weight, it's you want to look at this kind of stuff to see how many people hold it and how long they've held this for. And like I said, almost 73.5% of people have held this for probably this is probably around mint time when this actually minted was like 3-4 months ago. So that's like absolutely impressive. And then when you're looking at people that have held it more than a month, you put those two numbers together and you're going to get an 88% holding rate for that have held it more than 30 days. 88% of an 10K supply have held this NFT for this long. That's impressive. I mean, I'm sure you guys can kind of understand where I'm getting at, why I'm harping on this so much. This is the best platform. Other platforms can do this, don't get me wrong, but this one is free. You're getting all this information for completely for free, for nothing, and that's what I always
That's
love.
crazy.
Yeah, to show people because they could charge people to use this kind of stuff, and it would be completely understandable, you know. But
Can you explain why those statistics matter to the new people?
what you mean? What I was just talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we live in a flipper's paradise, and oftentimes people buy and they buy for the intention of flipping later on. These metrics make a big deal for someone who's trying to invest long term into an NFT project. You don't want to invest in a project long term if it's the majority of people are holding these for less than X amount of days after the mint, because what it shows is people don't believe in the project. When people hold for over a month and even hold more than 3 months, when the majority of people are like that, that shows a healthy project and it shows conviction in the project. So when you're looking at different, like say you could type in a bunch of other ones like let's see what
Trippy Toads.
Trippy Toads. What's that one? Hold on, I want to see what project Jerry Genesis has. This should be interesting.
Damn.
It's actually crazy. What the hell? So this one, 80. It's insane. 85% of people have held it since basically mint, and that's just like
Yeah.
not even going off of it. And then those numbers are smaller, and then the holding amount is just 1. So the reason why I say the holding amount is 1 is so I told you why the holding period was important. The reason why the holding amount is important is that if you're looking at a project that is minted out and there's a bunch of people that are holding it, if you see that the majority of the holders are held by whales and the people buying like 50 to 100 of them, it could show a project that was like uncomfortable with where they were at, which means that the project was sweeping their own floor and they have a vault and they're basically just holding a bunch of them just so that it kind of helps out the floor price and also helps so that they guarantee like, oh hey, we swept 100 of them, those are never going to show back up on the on OpenSea. And so like the reason why it's important the holding amount is that if you see the majority of people holding 50 to 100, it's a whale's paradise. We're not whales. I can't speak on behalf of everyone. Splinter and myself are not whales. I don't want to invest in a project that is predominantly held by whales. That's not a good feeling. You want to know why? If that floor price goes up, what do the whales do? They don't dump one, they don't dump two, they don't dump three, they dump 30 on the floor. And that
Fuck the floor up.
literally can crush a project's volume and their floor price. So you don't want to like be like all about that. So obviously this project got Jira one's absolutely like crazy. I've actually haven't traded like highlighted this one ever, but it's kind of interesting to see that kind of stuff. The you can
With
also see
those, is the what's the item account? Was that 100?
this one. Yeah, so where is it at? Where did you see it?
No, I'm just going off the top of my head. It
Oh,
was a question.
333 is what the entire project.
Collection is
The collection size is 333 for the Genesis, and
okay.
3,333 for the is for this their generation 2, Gen 2.
Gotcha,
And
gotcha.
and this one's like the floor is ridiculously high on this one. So it's not like the best to look at. We can look at the Goblin Town really quick, but we can't look at all the holder trends because this doesn't make sense because this project hasn't been out for more than a week. So of course everything's going to be centered around that. But if you look over here, you can also kind of start to see that there are some whales kind of like hopping in. There's 7% of them. There's 308 holders that own 4 to 10 of them, which is not really a bad metric. Like I said, any new projects that have not been out for more than a month, you can't really put a lot behind this kind of information, these metrics. So you always want to look at, projects like that's why I use Suzuki and stuff that's been around for a long time. Like CloneX it would be a good one to use where you can actually see because the CloneX has been out for a long time. And so see here you can see like the majority once again 91.5% ish hold only 1, 2, 3, which is definitely the sign of a very healthy project. Like I said, is don't put like tons behind this. It's just one of those things you can almost like come up with a checklist for when you want to invest, and you can be like, oh, okay, cool. Like check one. Okay, I checked out the holder distribution. Okay, cool. Like it looks good. Look at the holding period. Okay, that looks good as well. And then you can kind of look at all these different little things to see if you want to invest. Now, investing for long term, investing for a potential flip are two different ways of going about it. For a long term hold, you want to make sure that there's people have been holding for a long time so that you can be a part of like a community that actually believes in the NFT. If they don't hold it for a very long time, it means that they don't really believe in it, and it means that the NFTs are trading hands often, and that's why I always use Gojira as a reference is because I know people in there that have minted this back in December and have never even like considered selling it, and they minted at 0.05 and the floor price is like 19 or something. It's like 18 now. And people bought it
I'm
at that,
punched
so
in the
you
throat.
so you have like a fucking I don't know, what would you say? It's like 1,000x or something. I don't know. It's like ridiculous, like how much it actually would be. My math's probably way fucking off on that, so don't quote.
A million X. We'll go
Yeah,
with a million
sure.
X.
Sounds good to me. Love it. But yeah, so another thing that you can look at is like all this. Look at these, like all these like metrics. These just like really interesting, and this is kind of this graph kind of shows you, you know, going like on holder trends, like when there's going to be like a lot of unique holders, and like when it dips down, and people are kind of like going through periods of wanting to move their NFTs and whatnot. And so this is like with how the whales operate. These are just normal holders going across. That line is not going to ever move, but it kind of shows you people that all hold blue chip, projects. It's like people that are predominantly like the Doodles and Gajira Genesis, Clone X, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Azuki, Cool Cats, Kaiju King, like Cyber Kongs, things like that. If people hold a bunch of those in their wallet, they're considered a blue chip holder, and so that's how they track these kind of things. I don't always put too much behind these metrics, but it's really fun to just go and like kind of just like look and analyze this stuff. Like I could explain it to you, but sometimes it's easier for you guys to just kind of like check it out. And yeah, so like that's one of the things that I like about that. I'm gonna put this into the NFT 101 chat. Um, and so we can also like I can actually do like a list and we can actually pin that to the channel if people would like that. And so let's see. I want to see if there's anything else. They have some stuff on here where they like come out with different like Medium articles where they talk about different things like analyzing ENS becoming an identity for digital resources. And ENS name is basically like instead of you using your wallet address, which is like literally fucking impossible to like remember. It's like your social security number. It took me like 10 years of my life to memorize my social security number. So it's just the same thing. The ENS, you can pick a name like, for instance, like zerocool.eth. And so when anyone wants to send me anything, instead of having to have my number, they just have to have that it's zerocool.eth. And if that's inside my wallet, then that means that I can like accept things using that as my quote unquote wallet address. That's what an ENS is. But there's a lot of great articles in here that you can go through and read through. This stuff is all really, really good, really good shit. So it's definitely something that I say to go through and just kind of like take some time and just read through this stuff and just kind of look through it. I've gone over a couple of the things that I think are really good. Top sales, top mints. You can see newly added stuff, top collections. Of course, that's going to be stuff that's a high volume right now, and the things that are over the last 24 hours have been popping up. And yeah, it's like real good stuff. Like I said, free website. And I didn't touch on every single thing that's in here, and I kind of didn't want to because I kind of would like you guys to explore it a bit and to kind of familiarize yourself with it and have it kind of be part of your everyday routine when you're thinking about, investing in a project and you want to look at it. You can come to this website and use it as like part of a way of kind of figuring out things. So that's nftgo.io. I'm going to move along. If anyone has any questions about this website, feel free to ask me right now. If not, I will be more than happy to move on to the next part of the lesson.
No, this shit was yeah, this I've been in NFTs for almost a year and I never knew about this site. This shit is actually pretty amazing, especially being accessible for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's super accessible and super intuitive as well. Like it's not like
Because even down
confusing.
here, I'm looking at the top holders and it tells you how much they invested and if they're up and down, which is fucking crazy.
And you can click on actually you can look at the whale, go to the whale count, and you can get all that information as well. Just like these people that are like, considered whales, and the volume and the amount of money that they're spending and how much they're up and what their floor price and all this stuff is up and down. It's just like crazy. And like what I always tell people is, you have to invest based off of your strengths, and sometimes looking at that holder ratio might not mean a lot to some people. So on this website, you can go and kind of look through and like find out a lot of really good stuff, and find out what you think is a bullish indicator and what a bearish indicator is, and kind of work off that, because you got to play to your strengths and not necessarily just play to like how everybody else does. So I definitely encourage everyone to go to this website, click through it, just take some time, put some music on, just like play, like, have a good time with it. And yeah, it's good stuff. Speaking of which,
Just go with the Superfest, community and just look around.
yeah, exactly. And
No, this
so,
is cool though.
no, this is all really good stuff. I was gonna wish you to put a little bit of like some lo-fi in the background so that we can be chilling. Um, but yeah, okay, so we did that one. And then now this one's called flips.finance. Okay. You can see it up here in the bar. I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it into our NFT 101 chat. Oh, we actually have it in an oh shoot. I should be putting this in this. Shit, I just got moderated by the super bot. Thank you. I didn't even realize that there was an education resources channel. That's where I'll be plugging them. But in the event of just like us talking about things right now, I'm gonna put them into the NFT 101 chat. If anyone has any questions during this and can't come on voice, tag me in the NFT 101 chat. I'll try to make sure of it. If you don't mind, Splinter, make sure that I'm looking into that. I'm on Do Not Disturb and streamer mode so that I don't have a bunch of extra noises going on while I'm going through this, and my recording doesn't sound all sloppy, so I don't see the notifications when I'm in this mode because I'm trying to make the YouTube content better. So yeah, Splinter, if you don't mind checking into that stuff while I'm doing this and just keeping me sane.
Yeah, I got you.
And in line. So Flips.finance, I've loved this site a lot. And this first thing, when you come to the website and you're just literally on the main page, you see a 24-hour market pulse. It's kind of like, it's kind of like talking about the lifeline of the market and how it's been doing over the last 24 hours. And so you can click at different little tabs here: floor, volume, delistings. Whether or not you know about this stuff, I'll explain anyways, just so that you can kind of get an idea of like what these things mean. If you already know it, then cool, awesome. If I say something wrong, feel free to pop in and be like, yo, Zero, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, bro. But yeah, so delistings, this thing is like one of the most bullish indicators that I could possibly like, put out there. And what this is telling you the number of people that have delisted over a 24-hour period. And why is that good information? What a delist actually is on this is saying the number of people that have either delisted or sold an NFT versus the number of people that have actually listed an NFT. So if you see if like hundreds of listings go in and there's not a lot of sales or people taking their sales down, that is like really bearish. Because if everyone's listing, what does that cause? If tons of people are listing, that what it will do is it will cause the floor price to tank because those people aren't listing like, oh, he's floor. Okay, I'm going to list a little higher than the floor. Oh, I see that guy. Okay, I'm going to list a little higher than that. No one operates that way, okay? That is just completely crazy. The way people list is they undercut everybody. So if you have 500 more listings than you do delistings and sales, that's going to drive the floor price down, and that's not a good way to invest. So if you look at this right here, you can see the percentage of the delist is here, but if you look right here, you can sort this like this. And so Chimpers, for example, this is the thing that came out of the TBAC ebook collection. This was like a mint out of that, and this was actually a really cheap mint of 0.07, and it actually went up to like 4 ETH at one point. It's at 2.2 now. But when I sort it this way, and it says negative 232, negative sometimes means bad, but in this instance, negative is very good. When the number's in the green, it means that 232 sales or delistings have happened versus the number of listings. So I'll kind of explain it a little bit better. Let's say we put something out there and it's 0, okay? Someone buys it and a sale happens. It goes to -1. Then someone delists, then it goes to -2. If 2 people listed, it goes to 0. So you get +1 for a list, you get a -1 for a delist, you get a -1 for a sale. So hopefully that you can understand how bullish that is. If you have tons of people buying and tons of people delisting, it shows people are either it's a hot project or people are looking after it. So if you flip it around and you see the number of people over here is +83, this obviously is kind of a little bit more of a bearish indicator. Geez, looking at this chart, just, oh my God. This is so unhealthy, it's actually scary. This is like, I don't want to go on a tangent. But yeah, this whole thing where it's going up to 8 and it sold like this and then it tanked all the way, this sucked out so much liquidity from everyday buyers and sellers that it's like it almost made us kind of in a really deep bear market. I can't say that's the only factor, but it's one of the factors. I mean, the number of people who bought at 8 or around this area and wanted a coda and then didn't get a coda and then had to sell at like a 4 or 5 ETH loss, that's just so bad for the market. It's like,
if you include the gas, bigger loss than that.
The gas? Oh my God, Splinter.
Yeah, I won't get you started. I'm sorry.
The fucking gas that was
wasn't
wasted.
there like fucking
100
over
million.
like yeah, it was 100 million. Yeah,
100 million in gas was
losses.
wasted, and
Yeah,
that's not
100 million
going.
gas.
That's going to no one. It's going to miners. Are miners putting that ETH back in? No, they're taking it and selling it probably. So
Yeah, they got to cover their costs.
yeah, exactly. They're buying graphics cards at like $5,000 a pop. My goodness. But yeah, so when you see stuff like this, over the 24-hour period, it's also you can click 7 days right here, and you can get a little bit more of an indicator of like what's really going on. Like PXN actually over the last 7 days has actually sold or been delisted a lot more, though the floor price has still steadily gone down. A lot of these things that I'm kind of harping on here doesn't mean that it's it's still susceptible to the bear market that we're in. So even if you have a lot of sales and delistings happening, prices can still be going down because people are trying to take profits because they're like in fear right now. And I don't really think there's any reason to be excruciating fear, which is some people are acting like this is the end of the world. All markets go through downturns. It's just natural. what I always say, and some of the people that are really smart investors, this is the time during a bear market when the next breed of millionaires is born, because there's people that are sitting back that are liquid and watching the market be where it is, and they're investing like heavily in the blue chips that are on sale currently, and also investing in Ethereum. So, all these whales out there that are buying Ethereum when it was like 1700 to 2000, and once we go back up to 4000, which is inevitably going to happen because NFTs are just such a big deal and they're so loved. And they're becoming more and more mainstream like every single day. Like
Exactly.
I have my parents like call me and they're like telling me like, "Hey, we saw a thing on Good Morning America about NFTs." When I hear that, I get really excited because it makes me really hopeful for the future, and it kind of gives me a little bit of it helps me breathe easy, I should say. And so that's why I went off on a tangent there, but some of these prices don't don't make sense. You're like, oh hey, like Zero, you said that the 7-day delistings, if there's a lot of delistings, then the price should go up. Not true in the bear market, unfortunately, but it is what it is. This is the time and age we live in, and it's just becoming a smaller barrier to entry for a lot of people trying to get into more projects. I've been investing in certain blue chip projects that I feel like once the market recovers, people will be able to make some money. Always want to invest in teams during this time. If you're investing in hype, that's the wrong thing. You want to invest in a team that actually really cares about what's going on, and that's like the main thing. So yeah, the Flipstop Finance, this is some really good stuff. Like I was talking about the delistings. I think delistings is something that people don't look at very often when they're trying to invest in stuff, and I think it's one of the most important indicators on whether a project will start, going up in floor price or going down. Another thing besides the fact that Flipstop Finance will give you the 7-day volume, it'll also give you the 24-hour volume. It'll let you know all this stuff. It'll tell you the current floor price. It'll also, I really like to look at, sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'll click this and I'll look at how the floor price is changing, and I'll kind of see if I see one project on here that's gone up like 10% that I had my eye on, and then the next day it's gone up a little bit more. You could kind of maybe catch a nice little pump, and you can kind of like ride that one, and hopefully that it'll start going up, and that's a good indicator. Also, sometimes you can look at some of these. Right now it's actually kind of scary how many are in the negatives. These are all floor prices gone down. There's not very many that have gone up that are actually like legit projects. Some of these things on there here that are listed, I don't really know anything about. Like Oni Force was like one of the biggest projects back in the day. It's kind of irrelevant now. I don't know why or how they fizzled out, but it was one of the most hyped up projects back in, I don't know, like August, September. I don't know. It was last year is when
Mika,
it came out. So yeah.
don't for don't forget the Mikas.
No, yeah. Mikas. There's a lot of projects
Those
that were crazy hyped up that literally should have done really well, and they kind of just fizzled out. And that's one of those things where I always tell people, it's like you want to make sure you're investing in the teams that are actually here for the long run.
the fucking Mika verses were like 6 to 80th floor when they came out. Floor's 0.2 now.
Yeah, it's another thing like Mechaverse. The project that had it was like the Transformers type thing.
Yeah, they bombed.
And they like their pre-reveal, they went up to like 780.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was kind of pissed because wasn't meant for those 0.2, right?
Yeah.
And then they skyrocketed. I was like, that's crazy. That was actually like one of the first big projects that I came across when I first came into NFTs.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, awesome if you were in it at the time and sold it before it tanked to 0.2.
It gets me excited, and the reason why I say this is because it gets me excited knowing how amazing, if you look at it, a positive aspect of how NFTs can do so well and be so life-changing for a lot of people, if doing the right steps.
Yeah, exactly. You make a very good point, sir. Another thing that I like I said, is I wanted to give an overview and let you guys know, but you can kind of see what Flipstop Finance is all about. But what I use it for is the 24-hour listings and the 7-day listings, which is also the same thing as the metric with the delistings. But then another one is the supply listed. I think this one's really, really important to understand, and anything that has a, let's see, if it has a star by it, Wolf Game should have a star by it, but a lot of these are staking projects. So if you're looking down through here and you're trying to find a project to invest in, you know, the more the supply is listed, the more that people are like don't, you know, have conviction in the project. The less listed, the better chance that, you know, having any kind of volume will cause the floor price to raise really quickly. So low amount listed, any kind of volume will pump the floor price. If there's a shit ton of supply listed, and even if there's a little bit of volume, you're probably not going to see the floor price move too much because there's so many listings. So even if, you know, say there's a project that has very few listings, that means that the sell walls are probably low. So to get to like 0.5 or whatever, it could be, you know, only take like, you know, 5 sales to get to 0.5. Whereas a project that has a high supply listed, if you want that project to move at all, you're going to look at like sell walls of like well over 100. Hey, Jeremiah, I server muted you. If you want to be unmuted, just tag me in one of the chats and we'll fix that for you. But you had a hot mic going there. So yeah, so if you look at this, if you're looking at the supply listed, one thing that you want to make sure is that if you look at like, say like Pixelated Llama, I don't know why it's called Pixelated Llama, but this Llama verse Genesis. And so what this one is this has staking. So if you look at that and you're like, oh, 1.1% are listed, I mean, of course, it's going to be low because people are staking, you know? People have it staked and it's off OpenSea. So naturally, the supply listed is going to be extremely low for a lot of these projects. Creeps is another one, Sappy Seals, NFT Worlds, Imposters, Head DAO, all of these have staking, so it's hard to get that number. But if you scroll down through and you find some stuff that doesn't have staking, you know, going down through here, you'll see, I mean, Spooky Boys, I have no idea why this is even on there, but that doesn't have staking, so it's like kind of funny that it's even on there at all. 0.01. It's funny, the Spooky Boys Country Club is like the whole reason why I'm in the NFT space. When that came out, that was one of the first projects that I minted. And I sold and I actually made money, but since then it's been a slow rug and it's kind of just fallen off and tanked and become nothing. So you definitely like to look at the supply listed. Like I said, I kind of explained why it's good to look at that stuff. You know, any kind of volume with low listings can cause, you know, a floor price to really move quicker than if there's a lot listed, and then the sell walls are much higher. So, Flipstop Finance. Anyone have any questions about this? I can show a little more of it if you want. You can look at this live feed that kind of just like gives you everything that's happening like within the 15 to 5 minute marker. You can even change this and you can see what the majority of the buyers are happening and the sales and all that good stuff right here. There's that probably nothing we were talking about before. What?
Fucking Goblin Town.
Yeah, I know. A nice free mint there. So yeah, if anyone has any questions about this, feel free to hop off mute or tag me in the NFT 101 chat and ask away. I'm more than happy to help out with that. But like I said, it's a lot of these platforms, it's nice to just get on and click around. Just like click around, click everything, just to kind of find out what's going on. Like look at some of this stuff. I mean, this is a free tool here. It's like actually mind-blowing about like how much information, much analytics is given for free on this website. This is one of my favorites. I will say the only downfall for this Flipstop Finance, so if I scroll all the way to the bottom here, you see 225, there is no more button. They only have like 225 of the most like popular or like talked about projects on here. So that's the only downfall, is you're not always going to find the projects that you're wanting to find on here. You know, oftentimes you're going to fall into this problem of not finding it, but you know, most of the popular stuff is going to be on this website. So like I said, nice and free, just how we like it. Also, if you have exactly. So if you have a server, I will say this is a really cool thing that we could potentially add here, is if you have your own Discord server that you and your real life friends are in, you can add this bot into it. So you basically just add bot to your server, and then you have certain commands and you can find the gas price. One thing I really like is ranks. This ranks will tell you the top 10 collections that are sorted by the 24-hour floor change, which is really cool. So like every morning you could wake up and come into your server and do /ranks, and it'll tell you which projects, the top 10 projects that have had the most, like the highest floor change. So you can, like I was saying, is you can look at something, be like, oh man, I really liked you know, such and such project. Oh, the floor went up a little bit. Oh, wow, the floor went up and they're on the top 10 collections. Maybe I should buy in, and maybe I can catch something where it's going to continual growth, you know? So all this stuff's really good. You can click slash listings. It'll tell you the number listed, supply list, 24 hours, but you give the symbol for what the project is, and you can go back to symbol references and you can find all this information out right here and kind of understand exactly all this stuff. You know, if you want to find out about My Pet Hooligan, it's MPH. So you would come over here, you go to slash listings, you do space, you do MPH, and it'll give you the number of listed, the supply listed, and then the 24-hour listed changing. All really good information, good stuff for sure.
That's fucking dope. Can you post? I don't know if you have, but the Flip Finance link in the space.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's in the chat.
I'm gonna put it
NFT
into
101 chat.
I gotta put it into this one as
Okay.
well right here. So I'm gonna start populating that with more things. So yeah, and like I said, anyone have any questions about this? I can elaborate on something more. Most of the time, the best thing for you to do is to go on this website when you have some time, put some music on, and just kind of click around and kind of understand it. Feel free to tag me or send me a message, and if you don't understand something, maybe I can help you understand it better. But a free tool that just gives way too much for free. It's crazy. Like that NFTgo.io and this one are just like so fucking awesome. There's like a godsend. If not, then I'll move right along. This one will kind of keep it to like an hour, hour and a half, and I'll go to this. I'm not going to touch on this one. I'm not going to touch on the NFT nerds right now. What I will do is I'm going to contact NFT nerds and I'm going to get us a discount code so that when I do teach that at the end of the lecture, I will put the discount code in there and you guys can get a big discount if you decide after the presentation if you want to invest in it or not.
Nice.
So here's another one that I really like a lot. It's really basic. It doesn't have to be anything special. This is not an analytical tool. This is basically it's like real-time OpenSea bot, which you can do is you click launch app. Well, so we can look through it. So the use cases are you can snipe mispriced assets, you can monitor collections average price and volume activity, you can create a Discord and Twitter sales bot for your project, you can get notifications when your active listing is undercut. All of these things are really great because you could, first off, I'll talk about this one. So when active listing starts undercutting what you have, it will let you know that that project might be on a downturn. If you start seeing a bunch of indicators saying that your listing is getting undercut, you might want to be like, man, I really need to get rid of this. So then you need to adjust your listing. But it also will give you a kind of an indication of like kind of where that project is, like if it's a downturn or what's going on with it. The sales bot, the Twitter and Discord sales bot is just like is great because you can always, it can update you and tell you when certain projects are getting a certain amount of sales and volume. It'll also allow you to monitor collection average price and volume activity, which is like a big deal because say, you know, let's just say for instance, Splinter's favorite project is Goblin Town, you know. And if like you're like, man, you were looking at it and you're thinking like, you're thinking about it and you're like, man, I really like Goblin Town. So what you can do is set like a notification so that if like if Goblin Town started having a lot of volume activity, it'll have an alert on your computer. It'll pop up. And so then snipe misprice. You know how many times I've like looked at the activity for a project and been like, wow, something sold for that far under the floor price, like, are you serious? Where the hell was I, you know? And so what you can do is, I'll show you, you can launch the app, you can create alerts, you go here, since we were talking about it earlier, you type in My Pet Hooligan, that's the collection name. You can say this is all the other indicators, so you can say the token is listed for sale, you can say what sale is, you can say the collection floor price change and collection sales volume change. So you can go through any of these. So we'll just stick with this one. So a token is listed for a sale. So what you want to do is you do the price rule, and so you come down here and you say like say 1 ETH. And so what this does is it'll give you a notification when a token is listed. So the token meaning an NFT. So when the NFT is listed for sale at 1 ETH or lower. So you could say like the price is greater than what 1 ETH is, it'll send you an indicator and let you know that, hey, someone has listed for higher than 1 ETH. Or you could say less than. And so if someone lists under 1 ETH, you can get a notification. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to see if I can get a phony in Goblin Town. I try to show you guys what the actual notification looks like. This should do it right here. Okay, so I have this set so that if there's a listing under 1 ETH, it should push notification to this account. I'll continue to talk about things while this is going on. But yeah, so like you can also do it for sale. Like say you have an NFT that you're holding on to. You love it, but guess what? If it hit a certain price and was selling at a certain price, would you want to sell it? So you don't list it, but say like it's like, oh cool, like all of a sudden Goblin Talon is selling for 1 ETH. I had no idea it pumped that much. You might want to list into that pump. And so that kind of leaves this with like a really useful tool right here so that you can kind of list into a pump. And so you have to set these notifications and these like, I don't know why this is not, I really want this thing to pop up for you guys. Oh shit, it's on the freaking, it's on my other monitor. It's like popping up on my other monitor. Damn it. Damn it. All right. That's kind of screwed. I kind of screwed that up. My bad. But a little thing pops up on the side of your screen, and it's like in the bottom right hand of your screen where you can see my mouse is right now, and it will pop up. And what you can do is you literally can click it, that notification, and it'll take you immediately. So I'm gonna click this one. Okay. Look at this. This pops this up, and I can literally click buy, and it's literally boom. Immediately right here. So say you're trying to snipe something and then it rejects it. This is actually like this is another one of those things. I haven't done a walkthrough with this sunspot.gg in a long time. This is all brand new. This used to take you right to OpenSea. They've actually made it even easier. This will pop up where you click this, it'll take you right to the notification, it'll tell you all the information. You can even click buy. One thing that I will say that I just noticed on here is there is a sunspot fee, which you don't want to do that. So this is part of it. So what you can do is you can click the actual thing, boom, takes you right to OpenSea. And I'm getting tons of notifications now. I was like complaining about no notifications, and now they're like constantly popping up.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. All right, cool. Any questions on this right now? This is good stuff right here. You can click it and it'll take you right to the OpenSea, and it'll even do it like it'll even put in your parameters of under 1 ETH listings, which is really cool. I didn't even know it had that. That's awesome. And I think if you like subscribe to it, you can even get like a quick buy where it like automatically, like when that thing pops up, it just pops up with your MetaMask and it tells you to do it. That's awesome. Very cool stuff. But this is, once again, is all for, this is free as well, you know? Oh, this actually shows you all of the events where it popped up and gave me an indicator. I don't even know. That's new as well since the last time I've done this. All good stuff right here. Free, good information right here. You can also change you can change different rules on it, say like the quantity of like how many are getting listed, and you can kind of even go even more in depth into it, which I find to be really cool, and you can kind of personalize it to what you like to look at. Yeah, awesome, good stuff. You just go up here, you click create, put the collection in, type the name, do all that good stuff. Any questions on this? This is a really cool project. I really like this one. I've bought a bunch of things by using this sunspot.gg. No questions? Then to delete it, you just go over here, 3 dots, delete, boom. No more notifications. And like I said, they also added a lot of cool stuff. Is they added the ability for you to volume changes, which I think is actually like really 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 cool. Because say you, like we were talking about before, you were like, man, I heard a lot of rumors about Goblin Town doing really well, but I got to do some work. That's not NFT stuff. So you set the indicator for the volume so that you can see if it changes in a certain percentage or what it changes to. And when you start
Waiting for
seeing
you.
volume pick up, it'll give you a notification,
God.
and then you can go over there and you can kind of check it out and see like if it's worth to invest in it. Any questions about that or why this makes sense? I don't. Sometimes when I explain things, it makes sense to me and it doesn't make sense to other people. So feel free to hop in here. This is all recorded, so you can go back through this and stuff. And Clinton, you are now server muted. If you would like to speak or say anything, please tag me or Splinter. Let us know, and we will unmute you. But you did have a hot mic, so yeah. So I went over three things here today. I went for the Flips.finance, Sunspot.gg. I even touched on Gem and why Gem is so great. I can talk a little bit more about Gem if you guys want to right now. If you guys think this was a lot of information to digest, please let me know and we can kind of leave it at here. We can leave some stuff for the next episode of NFT 101 here in Superfest. But yeah, how do you guys feel about it? You learned some cool stuff?
Learned a lot of shit. I appreciate it, man.
It's awesome when I hear you say it, because you were like, I've been in the NFT space for like an entire year and I didn't know about some of these things, and that kind of stuff, like that's like, I'm like, hell yeah, this is the good shit. This is what I want to get to people and make sure everyone's getting educated about the right things. And yeah, very happy about that.
Yeah, no, I see how I've done mine, honestly, is I haven't used tools like this, so I've stayed away from tools and kind of I'd OpenSea for like 30 hours a week and kind of eyeing projects and the volume and owner to item ratio, like all that stuff makes sense when it comes to whatever you choose to do.
Yeah. And so like that's what I say, is like there's like, even if you've been around for this long and you've been like, I'm a loyalist to just checking OpenSea, and then you kind of see this and you're like, wow, I could like start to look at like that and kind of morph that into a combination of a couple things. You look at OpenSea, but then you also go to Flips.finance and ever evolving ways of trading, which I think are great.
Yeah, no, it's kind of, the good thing is like it's kind of like day trading stocks, but with NFTs.
Very much so. The volatility is a little bit more, but yeah, bigger gains involved too.
Yep, exactly.
Another free tool I just posted in the NFT 101 chat is uniq.cx. It's a free tool that kind of has a lot of what Zero was talking about.
That's a really good one. I was thinking about, I was actually, when I was typing in the ones up here, I was like, oh shit, this is a lot of information for one episode. So yeah, we can even talk about that one. That's a really good one. I'm glad that you brought that up. Yeah, there's so many good ones, and maybe next time you can kind of talk about it and share your screen, and I'll let you have the mic for a bit so that I don't like talk into infinity.
I mean, we love to hear it, but yeah, we'll definitely tap this one in on the next go around. Like you said, there's so much to cover, so don't want to bog y'all down. This is a one step at a time.
Exactly. So we went over a couple things. Like I said, it's been a good little session, I would say. I like, hopefully this was informative and very helpful. We've been going for like an hour and 10 minutes. I'll leave this time now if you guys want to ask any questions, not even pertaining to anything that I've talked to. Like Splinter was saying, that in the education resources, I've posted all of our stuff in there. NFT Go, Sunspot.gg, and Flips.finance are all in there. Please feel free to use that channel to reference and to click on them and just look through them. Some people might be like, NFT Go is junk, but some people might think it's great. I don't know how you could think it's junk, because it gives so many good analytics for free, but like one of those things. So
to each their own.
Yeah, so T Alpha said something just a second ago about OpenSea isn't showing the right floor price. There is a known issue with OpenSea where we call it OpenSea is rugging the floor, which it doesn't, like the actual API, which is the back end part of OpenSea isn't able to keep up with what's actually going on. It's not fast enough. It's always been a really big issue, so it doesn't show the floor price correctly. And Gem actually is the one that just shows it. So that's why I talked about Gem earlier. Honestly, like I don't really buy anything from any other websites except for NFT Nerds, and the only time I buy from NFT Nerds is if I need to buy it like right then, and there's a lot of volume and a lot of stuff going on where I need to like actually buy it instantly. And so I use NFT Nerds for that because that one is the fastest. But if I'm buying on any other time, Gem all day, every day. A lot of people think that, hey, I don't want to buy on Gem. I'm not a whale. I can't sweep stuff. Gem, you can just buy one thing. Another cool thing about Gem is that you can click this and be like, man, I want to get a Bored Ape, and I really want to whale out today, and I want to get a Mutant Ape as well. Guess what? In one transaction, you can buy 2 different collections in one transaction. This is great because it saves on gas. You know, anytime you're buying multiple things in one transaction versus using multiple transaction, always a really good thing. In my opinion, I try to give as little money to the transaction fees and to the miners as I possibly can, just because. But yeah, another thing is that's really great. You can also sell your NFTs on here. And so what you can do is you can click and you can go through and you can click several of these, and then you can go click proceed to list, and then you can list all of these projects on OpenSea, Looks Rare, all at the same time. So instead of going through multiple transactions and listing multiple things and taking a lot of time, you can literally just set a price for this, you know, go through and you can just set prices for everything, and then you just literally click set your price, and then it'll list it. And it'll list it all immediately. It'll list it on OpenSea. It can list it on Looks Rare. It can list it on X2Y2. So you can go and list across many different marketplaces all at one time. So this is a really good website. Like I said, is, you know, you might come on here and you might click Chip and Ape. Well, apparently this is not a good one. So we'll click this OK Bears. I forgot that's actually, wow, failing miserably. That's actually Solana, so they don't do it on here. But, you know, you can come on here and you can like refresh and you can like see what's all being listed. And sometimes you might see something that's listed way lower on Looks Rare and X2Y2. And that's why I always say to go to Gem first and click that to see if you're getting the lowest price from OpenSea, because it's not always the case. So definitely good stuff. You can list stuff in bulk. You can buy stuff in bulk. You can also buy things from, look for several different marketplaces all at one time. You can also click on this and you can sort through in the last 24 hours what's the most things that have been swept. It'll tell you the project name. It'll tell you the number of items that were swept, and it'll tell you exactly like when it happened. So just now, someone just swept Alfie World by Alfie for 3 items.
I've got an Alfie World.
Come here, Alfie.
It's hysterical.
But yeah, it's really cool. And like, you know, if you're, obviously this is all whale talk, but if you click Azuki, you can click this broom in the corner right here, and you can go to sweep mode, and you can either sweep it like this, like say number of items, or you can say how much ETH you want to spend and be like, man, I have 5 ETH. I want to buy as many Azukis as I can for, well, not 5 ETH, but for, say you have like you're like a mega whale and you got 168 ETH, and you're like, I want to see how many Azukis I can buy for 168 ETH, and then go from there. It's all really cool stuff. Some stuff benefits us. Some stuff just benefits for, you know, whales and stuff. So all good stuff. Any questions about Gem? Gem.xyz. But yeah, if there's no questions, I'm looking in the NFT 101 chat. If anyone wants to ask any questions now is your chance. I am going to stop the recording here shortly if nobody has any questions. Even after the recording stopped, if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. If you just didn't want to have your question recorded because you think you might sound stupid, I think that's completely ridiculous, because there's no stupid questions. The only question that's stupid is the one that you don't ask because you don't want to look stupid. Now that's stupid. So feel free. Also reference the education resources channel. I put the one that Splinter was talking about, that the unic.cx, gem.xyz, nftgo.io, sunspot.gg, flips.finance. All those are in the education resources. Whenever some of you guys might be at work right now, when you guys get home from work, go ahead, feel free to click on those, read through them. You might even find some other little metrics that you could be like, hey, Zero, I was looking at this and I could figure out how this number can kind of tell you when to sell or something like that. Just throwing an example out there. I don't know everything. Like I said, I don't know everything. And if you find someone that claims that they know everything, they're full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, without
True.
further ado, I appreciate you guys coming out here. Hopefully this was educational and helpful. We will be doing these once a week, and we will be doing more of them, and we'll be doing some that are, Discord safety, token approval safety, OpenSea safety ones. We can do any kind of different courses. We can do stuff that have to do with ledgers. Yeah, you guys just tell me. This is like it's a really cool thing that I have all this information inside my head, and I love to get it out. And I'm a big supporter of the Superfest, and I love it here, and I want to give my all to this. So like, you guys have definitely special privileges. Even some of the other projects that I do work with don't have this kind of like small, tight knit, like closed like community. Most of the time, I do this in front of like 50 to 100 people, and people are talking over each other and aren't able to ask a number of questions and whatnot. So I'm more than happy to be here, and me and Splinter are at your disposal. Ask us anything. More than happy. Even if you think we went over it already, feel free to tag us. Feel free to ask a question. Feel free to come to the next one and be like, hey, listen, your last VC was crap. I want you to go like this. I want you to talk less. I want this, this, and this. So
That seems a little aggressive.
Yeah, I don't foresee that happening, but we love it.
We might have to rug them if they do. No. No, dude. All the information's been great. I learned a lot every time I get into these. More and more people that come in, they're gonna learn a lot just like I did. So you're doing amazing, man.
I appreciate that, man. I'm happy to help out. I do this for comments like that because I want to make sure people are educated and learning and understand like what's going on. And I always get really upset when people kind of make mistakes, and it could have been prevented by us having these little VCs and people asking questions. And it like definitely warms my heart to know that you guys are appreciating this stuff, and this is all educational. So that's all good stuff. And I'm more than happy to do this every single week. Splinter he will schedule these things. If we need to schedule more of them, then we'll do that. If we need to do different content, we will do that as well. But I appreciate you guys. Anyone out there that missed this in person in VC, live stream, who is watching this on YouTube, thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. And yeah, until the next time, peace.